really exciting that UTEP's, people know about it almost everywhere I go, which is wonderful to hear. I enjoyed all my time here and I made a lot of good friends. My plan was continue going to school until you find someone that is willing to give up everything and go on tour. I came here originally just saying I'm going to get a degree, and I picked engineering. And then my first chemistry class, my professor took me aside, and I think he's still here. I want to go see him, Dr. Salvador. And he said, "You should be a chemist." And I said, "Okay." So I switched degrees really quick and really started enjoying it, and I got a minor in mathematics as well. And my last semester, which was all electives and just kind of fun stuff, I decided to drop out. So I dropped out. I went on tour for 4 months, slept on floors and did the whole thing and starved. Came back because we had to get jobs to go back on tour, and then I ended up getting my degree, which was really nice, and it started the process of starting my master's. But then at that point, we had gotten a very, very small record deal, and I decided I'm going to go after that instead. And the rest was kind of crazy history in a sense. To me, in life, is like if you're going to be a musician, you're going to be either with a degree or without a degree in music, and you're broke either way. So I decided, you know what, my dreams and my work ethic will get me through touring and the struggle of the road when you're not known. And I'm very analytical. I'm an analytical person, so I decided, and chemistry and math just came second nature to me. So I said, I'll just get that, and I'll let music be, I'll let music be natural, which I feel it should be, at least for me. I had a plan, because my plan was continue going to school until you find someone that is willing to give up everything and go on tour. So I think going to college, like when people ask me, should I not go to college and just pursue my dream? I said, well, go to college until you can make your dream happen. That's my advice. The thing is, for me, I was trying my best to graduate as fast as possible. So I was taking 17, 18, 19 hours a semester of all chemistry and math. And so I would live at school. I don't know if you're allowed to do this anymore, but I'd sleep in my lab sometimes. Sorry. And then, wake up in the morning and go brush my teeth and go to class. And that's just how I lived. And that's how I enjoyed it. And then when everyone was ready to practice after work, or, I would just escape from school and go rehearse for a few hours and then come back and do it, and just would do that every single day. But I lived here. I literally almost lived here. So, besides having a dorm here. So, you know what? I would not change anything, because, I'm a very cautious person. I'm not really. I kind of overthink everything I do. So getting a degree for me was what I needed to do for me. The way we did it in at the drive-in, we literally gave up everything. I remember it was January 10th, 1997. And I remember saying to myself, okay, today I'm going to drop out. Today that means I get fired because I work at the lab. And that means I don't have money to live anywhere. So I went and talked to a few of the bandmates, and I said, I'm doing everything today. I lose everything today. So you guys got to tell me if this is really going to happen. And they said, we're absolutely in. I went back, dropped out of school, lost my job, and lost my place to live. And I knew that time. I was like, and back then, I didn't even think twice about it. I was like, okay, you're good? And I went and did it. And that's the best part about youth, And we went out, and that first tour that we did together was 4 months straight, and we played to no one every night, and we slept on floors, we slept in kitchens, we slept on the stage that we just played on, and we were lucky to make our biggest payday on that first 4-month tour was $50, and we're not the only ones. I mean, so many bands have done this, but it was it's humbling really fast, and then who's going to stick to it and who's going to run home, and none of us ran home. We just kept on coming back, getting horrific jobs to save up money to keep going, and then it all started plowing along, and started to make very humble livings after that. And then luckily we we got lucky and kept on going. It's going really well. You know, we had started kind of contemplating all of this in 2009. It's been a while, and we've met and kind of rebuilt friendships, and not because there was anything bad, just because when there's a lot of time, you know, spent apart, you have to figure out if you still are the same kind of people. And we luckily were. And then in 2011, in November, we decided, pretty much a week after Sparta did 2 nights here in El Paso, we all came in and snuck into El Paso. We all came in separately, and we rehearsed at Clap of Thunder, which is Jim's studio. And we just didn't play any old songs, and we just pretty much jammed for hours, like for 5 days a week. And it was there. And we have been offered Coachella for at least 8 years now. And I called my booking agent and said, we're in. And I think he was very surprised. And, you know, now we've booked a moderate amount of world touring, but we'll be all over the world this year, definitely, after Coachella. I'm excited because I get to play with my old friends again, and we still have that kiddish, youthful experience even at practice. You know, we play better now, but that's the only difference. Everything else is still like we went back 11, 12 years, and we still have the same jokes that make us laugh, and it's been fun. And when we started rehearsing the old songs a few weeks ago in LA, it just clicked immediately. So that was a really good feeling. I don't know what I prefer right now. Coachella is a lot of pressure for a band that people have been waiting for so many years, and I mean, we're second to last in front of 60,000 people, and it's kind of, you know, it's a lot. It's a lot to put on, and it's 2 weekends in a row, and it's the first 2 weekends in a row, and so I mean, there's a lot of excitement, and we're excited too. And we're just going to go out there and do what we do and see what happens. And then, you know, I've never done the Neon Festival. Jim's told me that it's really cool, and I'm excited to do it. I got really excited when I heard that there's a festival here and it's doing well. And last year's, I know Omar and Cedric played it and they really enjoyed it, and so I'm looking forward to it. I'm just super happy and proud of the city. You know, it's like people that stuck it out here and worked really hard for it. It's just amazing. So I love to see everything that's happened here. Yeah. So Jim and I are, you know, since we are in both bands, we've been figuring out when to write for Sparta and when At the Drive-In is going to be in, you know, whichever country. And so it hasn't been that difficult. It's, you know, I don't know how or why, but it's been pretty simple to get everything scheduled in and stuff. You know, it worked out that, you know, At the Drive-In was off in May, so we decided to do a week run down the West Coast, and we're kind of building up in Sparta because we've stopped for almost 3 years, and we have no new material, so we're, you know, prepping some new songs, and, you know, and want to come back and, you know, probably by late this year have, you know, almost a record done. Well, very naturally, Jim and I had been talking about Sparta for a few months, and, you know, At the Drive-In is kind of like dynamite, and it's just like, that's just the way we've always worked, and there's a lot of love in that band, but also there's something very explosive about us together in a room, and I think that's what used to come out. I don't know what's going to come out nowadays, but what used to come out back then and what people were attracted to. And so Jim and I were planning Sparta regardless, because we didn't know if we were all going to really commit to At the Drive-In, because we're a very democratic band. So it's like one guy's out, everything's out. Doesn't matter what decision, and it's always been that way with us. And it's been, for better or for worse, it's worked out for us. And so we were like, you know, let's just do Sparta, and then when we get together with At the Drive-In, we'll figure it out and see if we want to do it. And so I think more than anything, it's Sparta was going to start regardless. We just didn't know when, and At the Drive-In was just kind of like, let's throw some dice and see what happens. And but again, we're having fun in both projects, and the rest of the Sparta guys are very, very supportive and excited for us, which was, you know, a good feeling as well, because we really care for those guys, you know, very, very much. 6 months to a year. Well, I think in at the drive-in, we've already announced some festivals worldwide, and we're figuring out the rest. And then in Sparta, we're doing that week run. We might do some European run. We're figuring that out, and hopefully in Sparta, a lot of writing. That's what we want to do. And Jim and I have always worked really well together. We get together in a room where we write immediately. Some good stuff and some bad stuff, but we get it going, and so I'm excited to, since I get to come to El Paso more often, I'm excited just to play with him as much as possible, and he's going to come visit me in LA as well. Well, it's different because I live in LA now, and I think being in LA, like you're from LA, that's your hometown, it's very different because everyone goes through LA. It's LA, and every band, every record label. There's something really special about, not that El Paso's small, but a small town kind of thing. And there's the passion, you see it. When I was playing in Sparta in November, and I would look into the audience, like, I worked off that energy, and it was just amazing to see that, kids that I felt were even like way younger than Sparta. I mean, they knew the lyrics, and hadn't been around in really in 3 years. So it was just a great feeling for us to come back, and it felt like we didn't miss a step. And so having a town like El Paso supporting you like this, it's hard to explain to people that live in the big cities and then try to tour. It's like having a hometown that is that passionate about your music is an amazing feeling. Quit. No, I think, again, as I explained earlier, I kind of did things a little bit different. I needed the degree. I don't know why. I needed some grounding. And when people do ask me, I say, just go out and do it. I think people put too many rules in front of them. Life is short, and I decided to take a semester off to see if I even liked it. And I'm not telling anyone to drop out or anything, but I'm just telling people if there's a true passion to do it, and you're willing to struggle, and I mean really, really struggle, and be away from your bed, be away from your family, be away from everything, and willing to sleep in your van every night, willing to sleep on the floor every night, then go out and do it. Try it. You might come back with your tail between your legs, or you might come back and say, I really want to do this. But my advice always to people, if they have aspirations of getting a degree in whatever it is, get it at the same time. Work alongside your band, and there's a lot of hours in the day. Rehearse, go to school, and then if you need to go on a tour, drop out for a little bit, come back and do it. If that's really what you want to do. If there's like a massive fear that you won't come back to school, or it maybe isn't that you're maybe not that passionate for it, then making those decisions in life, like actually putting those decisions in your head that I might drop out to go do this, they'll scare you enough to either stay or go. So that's my advice. It's kind of it's not the best advice, I guess, but it's the way I did it. Oh, there's definitely more pressure. I mean, there's a lot of pressure being right before the Pixies, don't get me wrong. The most anticipated band, at that point was the Pixies. I mean, I don't think anyone even was completely that interested in Radiohead, and they were headlining. I mean, you could just feel the energy for the Pixies. I couldn't wait to get off stage to see the Pixies. So that was a lot of pressure, but this is very special because there's been a lot of anticipation, and I think this is the only year that there weren't a million rumors that At the Drive-In's playing Coachella this year. So it's kind of like perfect for us because we said no so many times that there was no. I would check out the boards. I'm like, wow, there's no rumors we're playing this year. Perfect. And so this year is going to be a lot of pressure. Second to headlining, we're the last rock act. After us is Dr. Dre, and so it's. I welcome the pressure. I think it's going to be a lot of fun, and it's going to be really nice to play at the dark and look out to 60,000 people. I'm very excited, So this is definitely the big one, and the most pressure. I would say stick to your guns. I've always been very stubborn in the sense of if I want something, I'm going to get it, and I don't care how long it's going to take, and I don't care every loophole I've got to go through, or it's one of those things. I always tell what I like to, the way I like to live. If you're honest with people all the time, even when the truth isn't that nice, and then you just continue following your dream, you'll get there. And that's really how I always live life. Just honest. I try to be as honest as possible, and not stop, because this career, there's a lot of ups and downs. I mean, we were really lucky back then. It was kind of ridiculous. It was just, after a bit, it was just kind of became a joke. It's like you'd open Rolling Stone, Fergie says like we were one of her favorite bands, and it was just kind of, it was ridiculous, like, to me, that people like, U2 and I can't think right now. I'm just dropping names. I feel horrible. But it was just really, it was really nice that we were getting that kind of support, and it's a good memory. It definitely is, because you know where you came from, and you know how hard you worked for it. So it was really nice to get that, that recognition from such respected people.